Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Since I named my firstborn after the biblical Rebekah, I obviously like the story about her in Genesis 24. Let's look at this second-generation matriarch to be and see what kind of person God provided Eliezer to bring back to his master. In verse 16, we find that she's young, very attractive, and a virgin. Though her family is well off, Rebekah, not a servant, fetches water. As she voluntarily waters 10 thirsty camels, each of which could hold 25 gallons of water, we find her a generous, hard worker who's willing to go the extra mile, above and beyond her culture's duty of hospitality. She has a servant's heart. All the while, Eliezer sat back and watched in awe at the woman God had provided. Exactly what he'd asked for, but even better. After all, he hadn't asked that she be outwardly attractive. He'd been looking for a beautiful character, but he got both. So let me ask you this. If someone secretly watched you as Eliezer watched Rebekah, what character qualities would they see? Would they find you cheerfully willing to go the extra mile for others? Do you have a servant's heart? When Rebekah finished her arduous task of watering 10 camels, 250 gallons of water drawn from the well by hand, I'm sure she was hot, sweaty, and smelled slightly of camel. But she was even more beautiful in Eliezer's eyes. She must have been astonished when this stranger gave her a gold ring and bracelets. But after a few questions, he did something even more unexpected. He bowed down and thanked God. I'm sure she didn't understand what was going on, but we do. Eliezer's heart burst with gratefulness that God had answered his prayer. So he immediately praised the Lord. Is praise our knee-jerk reaction when God does something? Eliezer's first action was to pray, and then, when prayer was answered, to bow and worship. He'd probably seen these things modeled by Abraham. That's where he developed his automatic prayer and praise mechanism. When my children were young, I was determined to teach them to be grateful. Not just to say thank you when prompted, but to be grateful. I realized the best way to do that was to model it, especially with little things. So in a crowded parking lot, we would pray for a space and thank God when we found one. When there was a near miss of one of the crazy drivers of our city, instead of yelling at them, we would thank God for keeping us safe. And when we found ourselves in the emergency room after my son fell out of a tree, we praised God that only his arms were broken and not his neck. Yes, there are so many things every day, both big and small, to pray about and to be grateful for. Do you have an automatic prayer and praise mechanism inside of you? If not, how can you cultivate one?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.